Introduction. Man's Search for Meaning is not just a book. It's a profound life lesson wrapped in the haunting yet hopeful memoir of psychiatrist Viktor E. Frankl, based on his harrowing experiences in Nazi concentration camps and his psychological insights. The book is divided into two parts: his personal story of survival and the foundation of his psychological theory, called logotherapy, the belief that the primary human drive is not pleasure or power, but meaning. Let's explore this life-changing book chapter by chapter. Part 1. Experiences in a concentration camp. Chapter 1. Arrest and Transport. Frankl begins his story with the shocking reality of being arrested by the Nazis and transported to Auschwitz. The men are stripped of their identities and shaved, starved, and humiliated. Yet, even in the darkest moments, Frankl observed something powerful. Those who had a purpose, whether it was to reunite with loved ones, continue unfinished work, or uphold inner values, had a greater chance of emotional survival. Lesson: even when everything is taken from us, we still have the freedom to choose our attitude. Chapter 2. Life in the Camp. Daily life in the camp was defined by brutality, hunger, cold, and despair. Prisoners were forced to perform hard labor in subhuman conditions. But Frankl observed something unusual. Those who found meaning in their suffering could endure it far longer. He writes, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow," quoting Nietzsche. Lesson: meaning can be found even in suffering. It gives strength to survive what otherwise seems unbearable. Chapter 3. Psychological Reactions of Prisoners. Frankl explains the emotional journey of inmates. Initial shock, followed by apathy, then depersonalization after liberation. People would become emotionally numb, laughing at death and accepting cruelty as normal. But even here, the human spirit could shine. Prisoners shared food, comforted each other, and sometimes sacrificed their lives for others. Lesson: human dignity can exist even in the worst circumstances. Kindness is always possible, even when hope is not. Chapter 4. Liberation and Aftermath. When the camp was finally liberated, Frankl and others found themselves disoriented. Freedom, once a dream, now brought confusion. Some sought revenge, others felt empty. Frankl explains how meaning doesn't automatically return. One must rebuild it. His realization? True freedom is not just liberation from chains. It's the freedom to be responsible for one's own future. Lesson: freedom and responsibility go hand in hand. Life's meaning must be actively created, not passively awaited. Part 2. Logotherapy in a nutshell. Now Frankl shifts from memoir to method. He introduces logotherapy, a form of existential analysis focused on the search for meaning. Chapter 5. Meaning as the core of existence. Frankl argues that the will to meaning is the fundamental human motivation, more important than Freud's pleasure principle or Adler's will to power. People are not destroyed by suffering, but by suffering without meaning. Lesson: if life has meaning, then even suffering has a purpose. Our deepest drive is not to feel good, but to feel that our life matters. Chapter 6. The Existential Vacuum. In the modern world, many people feel an existential vacuum, an inner emptiness. They chase pleasure, power, or distractions to avoid the painful question, why am I here? Frankl believes this inner void leads to depression, aggression, and addiction. Lesson: avoiding pain is not the same as living a meaningful life. We must ask deeper questions to find real fulfillment. Chapter 7. The 3 Paths to Meaning. Frankl says meaning can be discovered in 3 ways. 1. By creating a work or doing a deed. 2. By experiencing something like love or beauty. 3. By choosing one's attitude in the face of suffering. He tells of a man who lost his son and wanted to die. But Frankl asked him, "What if you had died and your son had lived?" The man realized his suffering had meaning. He was sparing his son pain. Lesson: we are not free from suffering, but we are free to choose how we respond. That choice gives life meaning. Chapter 8: Responsibility and Conscience. Logotherapy emphasizes responsibility. It's not about asking what we expect from life, but what life expects from us. Our conscience, Frankl argues, is our guide, the voice that helps us find what is meaningful. Lesson: meaning is not something we invent, it's something we detect. And it often lies outside ourselves, in service, in love, in work. Chapter 9: Tragic Optimism. Frankl concludes with the idea of tragic optimism, remaining hopeful despite life's unavoidable suffering, guilt, and death. He doesn't deny the pain of life, but insists it can be transformed into purpose. Lesson: optimism is not ignoring tragedy. It's believing that even tragedy can teach, uplift, and transform. Final thoughts. Frankl's message is simple yet profound. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. Even in the most inhuman conditions, we are still human. And being human means we have the power to choose our attitude, find our purpose, and rise above despair. Man's search for meaning reminds us that everyday life asks us a question, and we must answer, not just in words, but in how we live, how we love, and how we carry our pain.